Man, probably a fun fact on me is that I
You
like to
don't?
read. I like to read. That's a lost art nowadays. Oh, my great uncle is Jesse Owens. He won 4 gold medals in 1936.
Yeah. I always want to leave people with this, man, to all the viewers and everybody out there, man. Make sure you guys finish your story. Make sure you guys finish your journey because somebody's going to need it.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is push the back button. That's all you gotta do. Push the back signal.
Try not to think about the future too much, so you can maximize the now.
Who's your favorite rap artist?
Man, to be honest, it's crazy. Tupac always been my number one, right? Like he got me through so much stuff, but Lil Wayne has been in the modern day.
I said, what does it really take? What does it really take to be great, Drew? And he looked at me and he was like, you really want to know? And he was like, to be honest, everything you did to get here, you need to be consistent times 10.
What's up? Happy Monday. How's everybody there doing today? You know your boy taking a beat down. We got it handed to us last night. But as they say in show business, the show must go on. Welcome. Before we can get into tonight's O.T.S.B.S show, as I do every Monday night at 7:30, I gotta bring my fellow cowboy brother on from the Northeast. What's up, Two? How you doing, man?
I'm feeling okay, man. As you said, terrible Monday. You know the number one rule on Mondays after NFL Sunday. Your team lose, you feeling a certain type of way. But I ain't even mad that we lost, bro. I'm mad at the fact that all the teams in the NFL, we scored the least.
Yeah, the least amount.
One thing we don't abide by in Dallas, we gonna score some points. The last 2 games I've seen from Dallas has not been great on the point side. Let's just say that. That's out 8 weeks. This you asked me to look at mock drafts before we start.
Yeah, it look like where we headed, fam.
It's some BS, dog. It's some real BS. You know, 617 in the house. Shout out to Will. Just here to laugh at the Cowboys fans. Now you can laugh at us all you want, but you're gonna be laughing at your Patriots too sooner or later. Better worry about that back. Mac Jones. You got back problems young. It's not good.
I'm fine, man. Y'all gonna be on us tonight, ain't you?
Oh yeah, be on us all night. We deserve it. We definitely deserve it. So tap in, clowns if you want to.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I heard another stat too, man. Not only were we scored the least amount of points in all the games yesterday, there were also 20 other MLB teams that scored more than we did.
Yes, that's
pretty bad, man. Pretty bad.
Hey, the jokes can go on. You know, we can say a couple of girls off the WNBA bench scored more than the Cowboys yesterday. Shout out to the WNBA though. Shout out to the finals. I watched it yesterday. Very competitive. Went down to the last couple seconds. Shout out to those ladies again doing their thing. Shout out to the Ace on that weekend yesterday. But shout out to overall week 1. If your teams won, hoo. If your teams lost, it's some bull crap. And going to week 2, hopefully you get stronger. With my Cowboys right now, we in the ER right now. We need help.
Yeah.
Paul has to a contract with the Cowboys. It's a year contract. You know what I'm saying? With an option for the second year.
Hey, I think Jerry gonna panic. I know locally, we're hearing the Cam Newton rumors. I'm hearing OBJ rumors locally. Antonio Brown. I don't like none of those options. It's gone and take our licks, man, and get ready for the top 5 draft pick. I like Johnson out of UT.
Out to UT too, man. Hell of a game Saturday, man, against Alabama. Game that they should have won. Bad that the QB took that hit, early in the game because he was slinging. I was about to call him the Bama killer. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
because
they dodged a bullet, man. They dodged a bullet. Yeah, he was. I have to say, he's a local kid out of South Lake Carroll. Yeah, my high school, they did him in a couple of times, but I didn't see what all the hype was about. but everything was 6 for 8,
Yeah,
137 yards.
he wasn't scared. He was just throwing that up. He was like, my receivers are better. That's the type of energy that you want your QB to carry. Like, my receiver is going to beat this guy every time. I know my receiver is going to beat this guy every time. I practice enough with these guys to know that my guy's going to beat him.
Right.
He was lacing that up. And his eight attempts, man, looked like 40 to me. Shout out to him. How do I feel? Real talk. I just feel like this is the wrong time for this to happen right now. For any football team that players get hurt, a star player, you have no momentum already going into the season. So when you're trying to build momentum, and we didn't build none at all last night before Dak's injury, we don't get no momentum now. Our best player's out. The gas tank's gone. The car's gone. It got to be repaired. It's going to take months for it to be repaired. But in that process, we got to hope that our feet work, our head work, and our mind work. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, hopefully in a month with some change, we're in a somewhat spot to contend for a wild card. But it's still our year regardless, man. It's the Cowboys year, baby, all day. I'm a fan till I die, baby.
Jake said, did y'all see Russell Wilson get booed coming onto the field in pregame?
Yes,
I did. They give him no love, and Geno out there slinging it.
Yep, Geno out there doing his thing. Shout out to Geno finding Will Disley early. I seen that highlight. You know what I'm saying? But he deserved to be booed. Russell Wilson deserves to be booed. And I'm not saying from a disrespectful standpoint he's a hell of a player, but when you give a team that much and we think you're riding to the end, and you don't ride to the end, and then you go in the Denver camp with big old trucks and all that, and you're taking pictures and all that, when in Seattle you didn't really do none of that, besides when you was with Sierra, then that's a problem. People and fans react to that. And he deserved to be booed tonight. He'll probably in the future get cheered, but tonight he definitely was getting booed.
That's true, Sean. Injuries are part of the game. Yeah. It is what it is, man.
Definitely. We on for another week, man. We play Cincinnati this week. I'll bet the Cowboys on the points some way somehow. Hopefully we don't get blown out the gym, because the Bengals, on the other hand, they're looking for redemption after their loss yesterday, in which Joe Burrow had 4 turnovers. So it's just like, you got to deal with the reality right now that we're probably the worst team in the NFC East right now. And I'm saying probably because I'm a fan, and I'll be damned to say that we're the worst. But we probably are.
See, Jake says, I'm serious with that earlier take. Jameis stays healthy. He's in the MVP talks. Kind of early for that, man. Kind of early for that. He did good in the fourth quarter, but he looked like same old Jameis quarters 1 through 3.
You can throw that whatever, Jameis, but Jameis isn't the most valuable player on that team. He's not the most valuable player. The most valuable player on that team is going to be one of those receivers.
You talking about the guy, Michael Thomas, that a lot of the Saints fans said they didn't even want?
Yeah, Michael Thomas. Man, all the guys are special for you. You got 2.
We don't need him. Needed his ass yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Those position guys are going to do it. Jameis is going to be Jameis. He's either going to find you or he's not going to find you. It was a great second half for him yesterday. But we all knew that Atlanta was going to give up that game or let them stay close in the game. We already knew that was going to go. It's not.
Russell didn't deserve that. But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's O.T.S.B.S content, where we talk about sports scandals, those wild moments, and the grime and dirt and underbelly of sports. And this first story, man, it's a little weird. This one is tight end Kevin Ware Jr. So before we get into that, let's get a little bit of background about this story.
The Harris County DA's office says former San Francisco 49ers tight end Kevin Ware Jr. has been charged for murder and tampering with evidence, specifically the corpse of his girlfriend, then 29-year-old Taylor Pomansky. Investigators say Pomansky was last seen on April 25th of last year at a party at her home. Officials called the circumstances suspicious and said she may have been a victim of foul play. Ware was initially questioned but not charged then. He was later arrested, though, in June last year for violating bond conditions on previous charges. and then listed as a suspect for this case. Texas EcuSearch spent hundreds of hours searching along several wooded areas along FM 2920. In December of 2021, Pomansky's remains were found.
So it's a little bit of the background behind Kevin Ware Jr. I believe he is also a Texas native, played at the University of Washington. And he was an undrafted free agent in 2003. And he played for San Fran.
Mhm.
So right off the bat, first thing I see here, man, is relationship issues. We've all probably been in some relationships that we probably shouldn't have been in. We realized it and we found a way to get out of it. Either walk away, run away, but regardless, you gotta just leave. It don't never get that serious, or it shouldn't get that serious, where you gotta take a person's life behind it. No, I don't know if there's any circumstances, what the actual circumstances were where he felt like he needed to do that, other than, dude just pretty rotten, call it what it is. You're taking somebody's life, someone that you supposedly, cared about. And I say it all the time, I've been open, close, and personal about it. Family and friends have been in situations like that where there's in abusive relationships and whatnot. But yeah, you can't do that. That's a good point, Jesus. CTE, it could be, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Nah, man, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say this is CTE. This is just simply, like you said, relationship going wrong. You gotta get out. You gotta get out earlier. And when you don't, at times it gets risky. Either on the male or female side. In this side, in this situation, it's Ware who's the aggressor, the suspect, and all.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't call this the CTE. This is something that happened years ago. He just got caught now, so he's kind of in the youngster to know that his mind's at. It could be alcoholic issues. It could be drug related issues. It could be anything. His mind's not on the right track. He played a little football, but how much football did he really play? I mean, you could develop the CTE early, but I wouldn't even think it's CTE. I just think this is something that he should have been out of, and he stayed, and stuff that went south, all went south. Young lady's parts are found, body parts, like that's on some, I'm watching a movie and I think it's real. And I'm gonna do, no, stuff like that you don't get away with. That's why that's movie scenes and make believe, and this is your life, and you're gonna have a life sentence. I seen that there was $1 million bail requested. What? There should be nothing requested. I know this has to be because he has a lawyer that's fighting for him. But at the end of the day,
Jesus said the thing with CTE is you can't tell you're dead, which is found a majority of the players who have died. I agree with that. I agree with that part of it, but
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But this is something that he must have, told of. You just say he was at a party. I'm gonna say there was partying and drinking and drugs involved on this night. Who knows what she was doing at the party? Who knows how he reacted at the party? That's why I'm saying it's not. I'm not gonna say CTE related. Now, I mean, later on, if he passes or whatever, and they get his brain or whatever, and they find it out, then I mean, we have an argument. But at this point, right now, it's gonna be a long time before that happens.
Yeah, and what's crazy about the whole mention of CT1, I don't want that to start being kind of like a defense team's cop out to try to get their client off, because two things that stand out to me. Once, as you mentioned, he's got $1 million bond, but he was convicted in 2018 of intent to manufacture or deliver a controlled substance and sentenced to 2 years in prison. He was arrested again on April 19, 2021 for possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver, in addition to unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. So there's two things he's did. He's getting his hustle on, whatever the case may be. He's totally aware of what's going on with that.
Right.
He, allegedly killed his, his former girlfriend. Tampered with the body. Again, you're something that you did wrong, so you're trying to cover it up. So I can't go with the CTE thing right off the bat.
I'm just saying he's watching too many shows. He's watching too many of these tales on TV and thought he can go do that. And I mean, some people want to say CTE. I'm gonna say it's not. It's all statistic at the end of the day. In terms of that, a young girl lost her life. He's getting fried for it.
Yeah, especially in Texas. Capital punishment.
Right. And then it's like you were, from what I'm seeing, you was a free man until you got in some other trouble, and then they picked you up and found out about this stuff, and then you became that. Now, that is the bull crap. So I'm just saying nobody deserves to lose their lives. But if you did this and there was no scene binds and you was a free man and you was chilling, why would you get yourself into this trouble? And that might pop up in your midst of getting in trouble. Also, right.
And when we talking about former San Francisco tight end Kevin Ware Jr.
What up, Bag? What up, Quick, man? Shout out to Lamar Jackson and those Ravens, man, yesterday.
But like you say, man, he's definitely going, he's going to fry for this one. If he did it, he should. If he didn't, find the killer. Innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, they and the simple fact that he stabbed and strangled her, then he burned her body. That don't sound like CTE.
That don't sound like CTE. That sounds like he mixing up some you know what, and it's bad news.
But when it comes to that court system, man.
And then you go take back and choke. We've seen a lot of people get locked up for crazy things. This man is on top of the list. That right there, and then just the midst of how everything just came together.
That part. Kawan said, "No, that's covering track." Yeah, he's totally aware what he's doing there.
He can't
blame it on the impulse moment.
Right. Like people yes, absolutely. So, this is something like, I mean, I can't even say everything's statistic. I can't even say this guy, no CT is involved with this at all. That's bullshniggity.
That's what?
It's bullshniggity.
I like how you talk yourself into that toward the end. I agree with you, man. The more you talk about it, the more you see it.
He's stinky. He's a stinky man that did a stinky thing. And there's a lot of people in this world who are stinky people. But you went over the line, Mr. Ware Jr. And you deserve nothing but hard time. Big boss man voice.
Yeah, that's true. Well, man, we're going to take our first break for tonight. Come back. Obviously, in between, it is football season. So as your football topics come in, we are going to address those. We're going to sprinkle them off in there, talk about them throughout the show. But appreciate the input. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back in about 15, 20.
What's up, world? Kyrie Robinson, man. New Orleans Saints veteran. Hey, man, make sure you guys go check out my guy, man, STWF, the media, man. Check them guys out. Y'all want to get sports talks with players, with fans, anything like that, man, go check them guys out, man. That's the place to be if you want to talk sports. Who that nation?
Yes, sir. Back at it like we're mad at it. And it's O.T.S.B.S show, Monday nights at 7:30. Week 1 football, so we're going to have a lot of football comments coming in.
A little bit of football, in between the show topics. Yeah, man, we had an argument in here in regards to the Ravens. Will and Quick on that. And Will said you keep contradicting yourself. You said that the line keeps him healthy. He's an MVP candidate. And the next thing you say is that line killed him. well, that means his line sucks and he's not going to be an MVP candidate. Hey, that is what that means, man. Just like every fan of a team is always going to wish upon a star. Like, for instance, we speak on the old line from Cincinnati last year. You know what I'm saying? And if the season was over right now, today, I would say that I was right in what I said a few weeks ago. I said that O-line wasn't going to be as good as it was last year because that O-line got into Super Bowl. But all is fairy tale right now.
I looked at Collins yesterday, man. He looked kind of bad over on the right side.
It's all fairy tale. It's all fairy tale. Everything's all fairy tale. Lamar yesterday in that O-line, hopefully for him, his sake, comes about the season. They had some injuries yesterday too, man. Cornerback and another position, man. So, you know what I'm saying? That keeps carrying on for the Ravens. But in all, man, Lamar's healthy. He's not that, and he's sitting out a couple weeks. Could be worse.
Will said that O-line did not get them to the Super Bowl. Stop it.
Well, hey. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
And Kawan said he talking about Jake's coming. Okay, I saw Jake talking about Jameis being an MVP candidate early.
I'm sorry. Quick, did we talk about the Saints? Man, F the Saints, man. You know what I'm saying? Jameis is Jameis, man. They won yesterday, shout out to him, but he's never going to be an MVP. He's never going to be an MVP in the NFL. Never.
Man, speaking of the F them Saints, man, I don't know why I let myself I hung out with the crew yesterday after the morning show, watched the Saints game, and I left right on time. When I left, they was down by I think 2 points maybe. So yeah, man, I couldn't have been there for that madness.
They played against a team that ran out of offensive plays, ran out of ways to get points, and shout out to the Saints. They had an excellent second half.
They handled their business.
One thing I didn't do yesterday, and this is even before the Cowboys game, I didn't go into the day. I usually on Facebook and commenting and all this and that. I didn't do none of that yesterday. I tried to enjoy week one as best as I could, knowing they had the last game, and it kind of was a weird week one in terms of everything that happened yesterday. But I enjoyed the games and the way it happened. I did though. Before we get into the next topic, give the group a little free money opportunity. And I don't know if the group took it collectively, but shout out to the Giants that easy money of the week. So every week you're gonna see.
You called it.
Easy money. So I'm gonna give one game all week off all the days that I see you guys are on post, and I'm just gonna draw one team. That one team is gonna potentially get you money. I'm letting you know. It's gonna get you money. Shout out to the Giants, man.
Shout out to the Giants. You're a bed man.
Yes, man. Now, if you're a Cowboys fan, I hate that everybody won yesterday in the East, man.
So, as you probably saw, I didn't post too much yesterday. I was sitting in front of my TV, just shaking my head at how the performance that we had. In the words of Charles Barkley, man, we were terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, we was terrible. Terrible.
It's gonna be a long season. It is what it is. You gotta take them lumps. But all I know is mass training camp breaks in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Hold on. Interesting thing that Rex Ryan said. And Rex Ryan is he's like the guy that people probably tell him don't say certain stuff
he gonna
on
say
television because of course, all these guys know a lot, and there's a lot of things they're not going to say on national television. But he did mention this morning that he said they might as well tank, and Jerry might as well call Sean and tell Sean to come on.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
So I mean, the way about it is, this is what it is, man. But for everybody that's disrespecting the Cowboys in this comment and chat thread, I hope your team makes the Super Bowl this year. So we won't go back to this conversation and talk about your team. You know what I'm saying? We're talking bad and disrespecting our team.
So the reason why I bring up the Mavs training camp is because we're talking about some family business tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we posted it in the group last week, but this just shows you, man, how money can be the root of all evil. So Mavs star, NBA star, future star, whatever case you want to call it, Luka Doncic, he's in a legal battle with his mom over his trademark. I didn't really see that because when I saw him coming in, him and his mom's was pretty close. So, this story is kind of weird.
It is weird, but the connection of the dots is not weird. Luka Doncic, overseas kid, you know what I'm saying? Mother and father's probably done a lot for him over the lifespan of his life, probably been there all his life through everything. You know what I'm saying? Can't do nothing in life without mama and papa, and their support, and they've shown that. Pops, from what I hear, Pops is be Pops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's very hands-off.
You know what I'm saying? You doing your thing bad. But mama's different. You on the road all the time. Mama might not be there all the time. Mama misses you. But one thing you and mom got is that branding.
Yeah.
And if you don't want your mom to be part of that branding, mom's gonna be terribly upset. And mom might do some conniving things to try to get away.
Yeah.
Now son don't really want to hurt mama. But he has to protect his brand. Because at the end of the day, he's on the basketball court. Mama isn't shooting with him in the gym. So,
now, according to Mark Stein, he filed a petition with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. He was trying to cancel the Luka Doncic 7 trademark, which is controlled by his mother and her company, but she was refusing to give it up. He says, I have come to look forward to it as I continue to grow as a player and person. It's important to me to control my own brand and focus on giving back to my communities. And his brand that he's trying to come up with, he's trying to do his initials, the LD and the number 77, and the letter S, which stands for in his home country of Slovenia. So that's his new logo that's on his Jordan brand sneakers and apparel. So mom probably feeling left out, Jordan brand probably got a little bit more controlling interest, and she ain't ready to relinquish that quite yet.
No, she ain't ready to stay with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like ground up, build up. Let me ground this up, build up. And, son is the man, so son wants to go another way, and mama's not trying to have you have that rope. You're going to be tug of war with her, and it's bad that it's your mother. Like, this is like, Kobe's mother didn't have control of anything Kobe did. But you seen that they sold memorabilia of his and stuff like that.
Right.
That's a symptom of mama always being there. You know what I'm saying? Then you get big time. And then sometimes, you make some players get in the midst of, not being with their mom all the time. But showing love to their mom all the time. Getting their mom that house and everything they got. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. This is something in turn. It's branding. It's something. Nobody wants to do. It's hard to end a relationship like that. And before this goes all the way south, man, hopefully, they can agree to something. You know what I'm saying? Because no love needs to be lost in the family, like you said. And it does happen over money. And it sucks. You know what I'm saying? She's going to ride that cape. Definitely quick. She's going to ride that cape. Like, that's mama right there. Like, at the end of the day, like, we could talk about it all day. But like you said, and Will said too, shout out to Will. You can pay his comment up. We don't know that man's life.
That's true.
But there's a lot of things that you can look at, and 85% of the time kind of get the situation, just being from where we're from and things like that. And some of us might not have the care from both mother and father. But, if you had love from one side, and, it takes a long time for that love to, you know what I'm saying? If that love gets divided, it's very tough. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's tough.
Mama is riding this cape. I hope they get it figured out, man. Because he need to be able to focus on his brand, but most importantly, focus on ball. They're building something over there. They're slowly putting it together. They got the coach, got the front office in place. Just got to put the pieces around it. So we need him to be able to just focus on help carry his team and trying to bring another O'Brien trophy to the Metroplex.
Right, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? And star players deal with stuff. A lot of all players and all athletes deal with stuff off the court, and some things affect them on the court. Like, this could potentially be something that affects Luka on the court. Not saying that it will, but hopefully things happen down between them, man.
It could.
Shout out to the O.T.S.B.S tournament, man. He's over there doing his thing, hooping. The bet line for their game, I believe it's Wednesday. It was too much, man. I couldn't put no money on them. That's no money. Shout out to Slovenia, you know what I'm saying? Doing big things. Last time I see him on the television screen, dude got knocked in the head, went bloody, and then went for 47.
Like, 47.
And so that man's still doing over there, man. I'm gonna bet on a couple of those games this week, man. I think there's games tomorrow and Wednesday. I think
Okay. But at the end of the day, it's Monday. We talk about this type of stuff. Looking at his mom, then they got beef. But at the end of the day, it's straight up some bull.
Thanks, man. Because family matters, bro.
It does. It does.
And it stinks when something's stinking, man. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to take our last break for the night. We'll be back in about 15, 20. And, man, yeah, it's going to be a hard week, too.
Yes, it's going to be a long week, man.
We'll be back, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's cornerback Delvin Brew here from your favorite team, New Orleans Saints. I just want to go ahead on and give a shout out to STWF Media for allowing me to come on and talk about my testimony, my story, and also talk fantasy football. I just want to say thank you, man, for the honor. I appreciate you, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in tonight at 7:30 Central Time. Bro Show out.
Yes, sir. The home stretch on the horizon, and this one, no, it's football season, so we got to take it back to football.
Yeah, shout out to football. Football is back, man. Well, from all the games you watched yesterday and all the highlights you've seen, you know, what team in NFL Week 1 surprised you?
Surprised me, I will probably say the Giants. They were competitive.
The Jaguars were competitive.
No, the Giants. The Giants.
Oh, sorry, the Giants. Yeah, the Giants were competitive. And I mean, despite the problems that Daniel Jones still may have, I feel like I said last year that they were a good team before they ran into AT&T Stadium and Daniel Jones and everybody got hurt at the goal line. That's a freak accident, you know? And I thought they was going to be somewhat good at that point last year. But like you said, they was competitive yesterday. You know, as a Titans team that's been competitive for years, it's a good thing when to start week 1. You know what I'm saying? Playing Mike Vrabel coach team, being able to beat them with pedigree, you know what I'm saying? That's under Bill Belichick.
That's
you know,
a disciplined team.
And discipline. You know what I'm saying? That coach better than the last coach they had in Joe Judge, who was a Belichick disciplinary. And for the end of the day, the Giants need something to wake them up. You know?
They do.
And yesterday, hopefully, you know, it's week 1. A lot of overreaction and over-exaggeration of a lot of things, you know. But one thing you can't do is over-exaggerate. Saquon Barkley, a guy that
like Saquon of old yesterday.
I've been tough on because this is the way I say Saquon is. You know, he run for 2, he run for 20 yards, then he run for 2, 1, 2, then he runs for 20. Yesterday, I seen that balance. For the first time in his NFL career, I seen that balance. And I know the stat line early in his career were good stats. But if you watch football and you watch the game, you see that. And, you know, and that could be an issue with the line, all that. But he's a good player. And he definitely, yesterday was the first time I could say him as an NFL player that I'm like, this is what he naturally could do.
That's true. Tua's arm surprised me too. Yeah, he had some great. He looked good at some throws yesterday.
Yeah, Tua looked good, and it's the way the offense is being thrown. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta favor the quarterback when it comes to, you know, schemes and stuff like that. Like, Tua's not going to become what you want him to become overnight, but if you give him a favorable, you know, book to mess with, he's gonna be good. And you gotta be real. Miami, Tua came back last year, stormed them out. Before Tua got hurt, they were doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries do a lot of things for teams, you know what I'm saying? And the guy that was trying to grow last year as well, hopefully for his sake, he don't get hurt this year. But other than that, I thought Miami was going to be a playoff team last year. This year, they could potentially be a playoff team. We're not going to say that win against the Patriots was a big win. For them, it was. But in reality, we know the Patriots are going to be a step back a little bit, But for
Miami in New England, though, Miami they've had their number for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's either they the win or it's a very competitive game.
Definitely. A team that surprised me too yesterday, and everybody is going to disrespect them and say they're years from the ceiling, and they are years from the ceiling. But I hope that this QB, gets what he deserves, where he's at, and that's the Chicago Bears. Shout out to the Chicago Bears.
As a grimy game, and they did their thing.
Chicago definitely gets a 49ers team that was playing a QB with similar situations to Fields, and they were out there and they fought hard to come back and win that game yesterday. And the slip and slide, during the course of that game was awesome. It showed me that the Bears might have some type of unity. Now, like I said, it's week 1, but we hope for unity in the football team, first off. With a team that's been in the airways for years being talked bad about how they coach and how they coach teams and how they coach players.
Front office been under fire.
Yeah,
right. One thing I did see yesterday, I was surprised. Do you think they gave up on Khalil Mack too early? He had 3 sacks.
Yeah, they gave up on him, but I can see where it was coming from. Like, Khalil Mack's gonna probably be that type of player for the rest of his career. Probably be good some games, be good nothing. The Bears definitely did the due diligence and they did what they had to do. But unity, one of their star defensive players, Roquan Smith, wanted out before the season started. He said he's gonna forget all that and compete and play this season. That had to have something to do with something new within the Bears. Even if he gets traded at the end of the year, that's something good for a team that's trying to build. You know what I'm saying? It's veterans staying. Even if he stays another year and leaves, it's good for their system. You know what I'm saying? To have people like that. Rather he's not going to get traded or anything else. It's good to see the Bears win a game in week 1. You see here and say, because week 2 is a game against the Packers and the game against Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if we know Aaron Rodgers. He's coming back for the get back. But
definitely.
It was good to see. Shout out to the Bears.
Kawan said they changed the defense. He no longer fit the scheme, so they traded him. I wouldn't say they gave up on him. Fair enough. Definitely fair enough. So last topic of the night, bad medicine. And we talked about it earlier. We're talking about, the injuries in the game. Shout out to my UT Longhorns, man. They took the L Saturday, but they showed a lot of heart and character. And a former NFL great, now current analyst, he got fried because he had a controversial take on Quinn Ewers. That's Drew Brees. He's a local guy. He grew up in Austin himself, and his take was after the hit that he took was that pretty much he got to shoot his arm up, got to deaden it, get back out there and ball. What do you think about that comment?
People get paid in NIL money. We're gonna bring that like they grown in the game. People, the way they get recruit and the way they got these 5-star, 4-star recruits. It's like they're pros. So it's what pros do. It's what pros do, Drew. And I get what you're coming from and all. But this is the college game. They're still in college trying to teach some right. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way to go. It's a bad message to send. I get where you're coming from because you feel like you're in the Alabama against Texas game, so you can say that, 2 prestige schools, they're giving their kids tons and tons of money on the low before the money was given and all that stuff. It's definitely a bad message to send in terms of that because, shooting up and all that. They'll hear about that when they get to the pros. You know what I'm saying? They don't need Drew Brees going into his inner Aaron Rodgers, the spurring stuff out on television.
and didn't he have almost a career-ending shoulder injury himself?
He had a career. Yep, he had a career in this. So yes, definitely, it's literally falling off him. Yes.
So, for him to have that take on this kid who got, and keep in mind, this kid came out early. He was out at Ohio State last year, but he forgoed his senior year of high school to go to Ohio State early, then transfer to UT. A lot of upside. He's only the second quarterback all time to have a perfect rating, according to the Max Preps and places like that. The only other player that had who had the same rating as him was Vince Young. That's almost over 20 years ago.
That's crazy. Wow.
So he had a lot of upside.
Yes, dude. Like we were saying before we started, I was about to call him the Bama killer, and I might still call him the Bama killer because the way he was going at Bama was like he was watching them for years, studying their playbook. You know what I'm saying? He knew what they was doing and was ready for this matchup. Like, and Texas, they wasn't ranked before that game, but
and they're 21 now, I think.
But like I said, if I was in the committee, they was getting ranked regardless of what happened, if they lost or not. But they lost close. I mean, they would have lost big. No, definitely not. But the way they played the other day, they deserve to be ranked. And there's some teams that don't deserve to be ranked. So shout out to the committee for getting that right. You know what I'm saying? In that case, we don't got to disagree on that one. Shout out to Texas. I hope that the rest of the season for them goes good. It may not be no BCS, but it's a season to come up. And this is what we talked about over the summer. We've talked about for the last couple months as Texas and Oklahoma was going to the SEC. It showed that one of these teams, Oklahoma and Texas, can at least compete. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you gotta look at. I was looking. That's probably about 7 or 8, and I think 5 of them starters on Alabama's team that were from Texas.
Right, definitely. And I just say, like, I'm just being like, on the fence 50-50 that one of these teams are going to be good, one of these teams might be mediocre or worse. You know what I'm saying? Coming into a new party, you know what I'm saying? You got to get comfortability first. Texas got their comfortability party. They got the comfortability. Like, we just went up with the number 1 team in the nation. You know what I'm saying? We just went up
toe-to-toe with an injured backup quarterback.
Injured backup quarterback. I guess the best, they probably saying one of the best QB prospects of the next year's draft coming up. Like, this is good. It's good confidence. Good dude. I watched that game the other day. That might have been the first Texas game I watched in over 8 years.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Like, from NCAA football games to them actually playing on Saturdays, the stadium and all that, it's just a big, lovable atmosphere. And it hasn't been lovable in the last few seasons, but they've been trying to build up the brand. They've been trying to, compete and get better. There's times where they start good and then finish bad. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully the season continues to be good for them. Shout out to Kentucky, too.
Come on, say Alabama had trouble because of Venables' defense. I think that's definitely part of the equation, but I don't think they had an answer for that spacer that was getting behind everybody.
Yeah.
And Ewers was putting that ball on the money, man. I don't know if anything they could have did that day could have helped him. He was 6 for 8, 137 yards in the first quarter. So he was on his way to a big day. And I want to shout out to the UT defense, man. I forgot. They got a little bit of a secret weapon over there on the sideline. The former TCU head coach, Gary Patterson, is a assistant to the head coach. And his defenses, he has a great track record. TCU, They never played in the championship game, but they had some great seasons. Their defenses always showed. And he had those balls. He had them balling Saturday.
And they had Sarkisian, you know what I'm saying, who is, you know what I'm saying, was at Bama. You know what I'm saying? So they were ready to go in that game and show the world that we got the coaching staff. And hold on, they're in the tree of that coach. You know what I'm saying? Nick Saban. Hell of a game Saturday. I could watch that again. I wish Texas quarterback didn't get hurt like that. We possibly could be seeing this matchup, you know what I'm saying, in January if that quarterback didn't get hurt the other night.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. the guy, the running back. I think it was Bijan. I think he's the best running back in the nation. The team is young. They had a bunch of true freshmen on the O line, first year starters. You had a freshman quarterback. Yeah, I, they're a young team, man, and I'm just glad. Did I expect them to win? Going into game, no. When the game started, yes. But when the injury happened, hey, they still showed up and showed out. And I'm glad they did that because they got another great recruiting class coming in. These are the type of games can make those kids be like, I don't know if I want to go there or not. Exactly. So they had a good showing Saturday. And if anything, I think that helps bolster their likability, to these kids coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, we wish that upset was the number one upset of the weekend, but there was a few teams that felt the wrath of an upset. Texas A&M wanted to laugh at Texas. Appalachian State said, "Hey,
put it on them.
Take this L." And Marshall and Notre Dame gets upset by Marshall. Both of these teams, Marshall and Appalachian State, got paid over $1 million just to take the game.
Yeah.
You know $1 million in a win against that will take them anytime. Shout out to them two teams this weekend for doing their thing.
And Kawan said Saban still has only lost to one of his older sisters. I think he got two. I think he's 2-2 in his last 4 games.
Yeah, but you know what it is. Saban knows what's coming in the years. I mean,
that's why he was against the NIL.
Right. He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming in the years to come. They can overcome, you know what I'm saying, and flip the propaganda, as I just say. You know, he doesn't want that. You know what I'm saying? It's the worst thing that can happen to him. Not for the program, but for him mentally. He don't want that.
Yep. And Saban is 20. He's 26-2 against his former assistants dating back to 2010. And I think his loss is to Jimbo Fisher, and I forgot who the second one is because they showed that graphic. Jimbo Fisher and Kirby Smart at Georgia. That's who it is.
Kirby. Hey, the guys, anybody that college football, anybody that bets college football, take Michigan State this weekend against Washington. I believe as of today, they're still on the positive side. I think Michigan State beats Washington outright. Just listen. Just listen.
That's a nugget he's dropping for you.
I'm dropping the nugget. I'm dropping the nugget, man, you know.
Man, who you got for shout outs tonight?
Shout out to I want to give a shout out to the man that's not here today, the man that's in the middle. You know, shout out to you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Saints win. I want to give a shout out to you. I want to give a shout out to all the haters. You know what I'm saying? All the haters. You know what I'm saying? I must have felt bad for me because I didn't feel a lot of, you know, hate today or, you know, bashing. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, man.
You know what I'm saying? But obviously, y'all don't care that our QB's hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. Because I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken. Shout out to Stitchyville. Shout out to my cousin Miles. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Stitchyville. You know, get Stitchyville clothing. You want your Stitchyville clothing, holler at me, and I get you over to the right person. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brand here and everybody for commenting, liking, sharing, and showing love to the best show out.
No doubt.
Every day that you live. That's all, man.
Shout out to you, fam. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, hopped on here, and chopped it up with us tonight. We always appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Hey, man. Shout out to my Longhorns. It's a rough week. My high school, they didn't play, but they cool. You know what I'm saying? My Longhorns, they take it on the chin. My alma mater, shout out to the Kingsville Javelinas, the real Texas dynasty. They 2-0, and next week we playing against our brand ambassador, Kyrie Robinson, former Saint.
Nice.
They playing West Texas A&M first conference game next week. Okay. So looking out for that. And hey, man, have fun as always. Tomorrow, we have the Sports Chatter Show. Get in there, comments. Group been kind of quiet. Like everybody, like you say, y'all been kind of nice, man. When
Nice.
the Cowboy hate coming?
I don't like when y'all know. You know what they're gonna start doing it. You know they're gonna start doing it. They're gonna do it after week 2. They're gonna do it after week 2. They're just gonna. But guess what? I'm gonna say it right now. We're still going to Super Bowl. We're still going to Super Bowl.
We gonna see, fam. We gonna see.
Super Bowl, man. We gonna see nobody. Man, our backup's about to be the best backup, the best quarterback in the league this year, man. Till I come back.
Hey, but hey, man, he got in there yesterday. There's a couple of balls he threw. I'm like, okay, he got a little zip on it.
I mean, this might be a Drew Bledsoe Tom Brady effect, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Cooper Rush might really be the truth. We don't know.
We don't know, man. But shout out to you fools. Actually, thumbs down to the fool that was throwing trash at Dak last night with his head.
Yo, matter of fact, man, we'll be in Cincinnati. We'll be in Cincinnati next week. We'll be in Cincinnati.
Okay.
We're going to send the Bengals to 0-2. Yep. I'm taking the Cowboys.
You heard it here first.
I hope Cooper Rush starts. I hope he starts.
You heard it here first.
I hope he starts.
2 dropping nuggets.
The same way I used to be confident in the offense, it wasn't in the defense. I'm confident in the defense now and not too confident in the offense, but we're going to go where to go. Cowboy Nation, we'll be in Cincinnati this weekend, man. They ain't playing no games, man.
There you have it. You heard it here first. Shout out to you, too. Well, appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all come hang out with us tomorrow night. Sports Chatter Show. Get in there. Post your comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Holla at your boys.